Thank you for joining us today
Cool.
for the first for the culture right here on Revolutions London here on Twitch. Oh, maybe I should change my name. I don't. Revolutions London sounds so random, right? It's just so. I mean, there's a DJ Revolutions, so I have to use Revolutions London. Like there's two Porsches I've just noticed. There's two DJ Porsches. When I googled you earlier, there's another DJ Porsche.
There is? I don't go by
Did
DJ.
you know that?
No.
No, I know, but you're a DJ, right? So people DJ Portia.
Yeah.
Anyway. So yeah. Anyway, I'm monitoring the chat. So if you guys have got any questions, just holler out. If you want to just mock me, that happens every time we do this. So just carry on. But yeah. Anyway, let's get started. So Portia, thank you for joining me today. I will be bouncing from left to right. This is what I do when I do these kind of things. Last time I hid in the cupboard. We're not going to be doing that. We're not going to do that this time. But yeah, thank you for joining me today. I feel like we should start right at the beginning.
Beginning of what?
The beginning of life, dear. The beginning of life.
Like where I was born, or talking about the DJ?
Yeah, totally. I mean, we're interviewing you, right? I'm just a guy asking the questions. So let's set the scene a little bit. You're South African, right?
Right.
So you grew up in South Africa?
Yeah, I grew up in South Africa. Lived there till I was 13, almost 14.
And what happened?
What moved? Why did I move?
No, I mean, I'm sorry. I shouldn't interrupt you. I need to get better at this. So you were in South Africa?
Yeah.
And then at the age of 13, States. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about South Africa. I've never been to South Africa.
Oh, you should go. It's beautiful.
I've been invited a number of times, but it's like my wife is Ghanaian, and I imagine it's the same price to go to Ghana as it is to go to South Africa. So it's that kind of vibe, right? We either go to Ghana or we go to South Africa.
Well, you go to both.
We could do that. That
That's
could
a
happen.
lot of flying, but it's far. I mean, going to South Africa, I don't know, from the UK, I think it's about 8 hours.
Right.
Yeah, it's a long flight. It's definitely worth it. The people are so nice. The vibes in the party scene, especially in the house scene, are like so thick. And the country is just beautiful. It's like a very beautiful place to go. Definitely has its elements, of poverty. There's elements of crime, but I feel like when people go there, not that they don't notice that, but it definitely is not like the main thing that they talk about or that they experience. So it's a great place to visit.
No. I mean, I guess the other part of this is I used to work for a hotel company, and they had, do you know the 12 Apostles in Cape Town?
Yeah.
So I kind of worked for the 12 Apostles, and I kind of worked for the Oyster Box in Durban.
Oh, nice.
And I kind of worked for Bushman's Kloof in Bushman's Kloof. So yeah. I mean, I guess if I was going to go to South Africa, I would have gone then, because then.
Well, can you still use your connections that you have from there?
I don't know. It was. I was there for 10 years.
Okay.
So maybe I'll sort out a South African tour. Just go DJ in some hotels.
Heck yeah.
I don't know. No, but so I guess. So I don't know how old you are. I'm not going to ask you. You never ask a lady her age. But
I have no qualms with my age.
No, well, I don't know.
Actually, in a month I'll be 40. So.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Easy. Nice round number.
Yeah.
So this would be what, the 1980s in South Africa?
In the what?
The 1980s in South Africa?
Yeah, that I grew up there. Yeah, 1982 till 1994, something like that.
Okay, so what was the hit me on the kind of vibe in South Africa in the 80s as you're growing up? Musically, because the way I look at this, right, is the things that we listen to as when we're kids, a
Yeah.
profound effect on us.
True. Growing up in South Africa was very interesting because I grew up in the apartheid system. So I feel like music wasn't really, not that it wasn't part of my life, but the music that we listened to was American music. The only time really that I got to hear African, and especially South African music, was if it was something traditional, like a wedding or a funeral or something like that. Because at the time, there were limitations on what Black South Africans could play on the radio. There were like sanctions as far as like the station, so it was very limited. A lot of things that we heard were very American. So we heard a lot of like Michael Jackson, Motown. That's kind of what I grew up listening to as a kid. Yeah, that's what I remember as a kid. And then there was some traditional songs that you would hear once in a while, but it was very rare to hear South African music.
Okay, so I'm guessing, like, I mean, my introduction to house would be, I was listening to hip hop. I was listening to, I didn't really like old music. I was on kind of a lot of forums, like Deep House Page and things like that. And that it was kind of through Kenny Dope doing hip hop that I kind of discovered Masters at Work. And then, sorry, I'm going backwards. Then I kind of discovered Deep House Page and all these things. And that was kind of that must have been the late 90s. So if you're kind of in South Africa and then you go to America around, you see what I'm doing? I'm doing a timeline. So at this point, you're kind of heading to America. Did you move straight to Miami?
No, I moved to Miami 3 years ago. I was in LA most of the time, but I did grow up in when I was a teenager, I was in the Midwest. And then at 17, 18, I moved to LA. So I was in LA for like 20 plus years, and then Miami 3 years. I didn't get to hear house music until I lived here, until I lived in LA. So in South Africa, I didn't really get to hear it unless I was visiting, right?
Yeah.
So would go visit like in the summer, so for Christmas. And so that's when I would hear house music. My friends and my cousins would be like, oh, you have to get the CD. You have to get the CD. And I'm like, what is this? There's no lyrics. What is this? Like, it was just instruments. That's kind of how I first like perceived house music. And then it grew. And especially South African music became really more mainstream as Black coffee became like more exposed and popular. So, I mean, I feel like I got exposed more to house closer to the times I was going to WMC. So that was probably early 2000s, 2005, 2006. Yeah.
No, I get it. So the reason I'm kind of going through this, right, is because I find the South African house scene really interesting. And for me, for someone that grew up in South Africa, then moved to America, then basically hung out in LA, and then 3 or 4 years ago came to Miami, it's quite interesting, the fact that, for me, I guess you've only recently kind of got into, well, not recently got into it, but I feel like how South African house music has basically emerged over. I mean, I'm not just talking Boosie and all this kind of stuff. I Russell Joseph, will probably school me on this left, right, and center, but I appreciate it was Kwaito. There was something called Kwaito.
Yes. So that's what I was going to say, is that
yes,
around the time I left South Africa, probably a year or two around the time I left South Africa, that's when apartheid was like abolished. And so this new genre of music came up, because all of a sudden you had these young creative kids who didn't have music or access to their music being exposed to the world. They started creating their own sound. I feel like as Black South Africans, people started finding kind of like their voice and feeling like they matter too. And I feel like that's when Kwaito started, and that's what I listened to. So I grew up listening to that in the 90s, and then once I left South Africa, it was like something that my sister and I kept up with. Like whenever we'd go home, we'd get CDs and all that stuff. But it definitely, I feel like, has influenced house, and definitely has influenced ampiano and all those different sounds. So that's kind of what I listen to, I would say, as like a 12, 13-year-old.
Right. Okay.
But so before that, we didn't have that sound.
Yeah. No. I appreciate that. And so I guess, so when you're going to like the Winter Music Conference or LA and stuff, right? You're kind of listening to, I guess, people like Louis, People like I mean Tony Humphries, maybe there was the Magic sessions, right? I mean, I always wanted to go to Miami. I never went to Miami. I went to Shelter, but never Miami. I mean, I don't look good naked, first of all, so I probably would never go to Miami. It's just too hot for me. But you know, so again, so at this point, you have kind of the Louis Vega that's kind of done all the Maths at Work stuff. He's kind of started Vega. He then starts kind of playing kind of Latin jazz a little bit, kind of. So was that the kind of Louis Vega that you were exposed to?
Yeah, that was Louis Vega that I saw, that I heard, and I definitely remember like meeting some of the South African DJs as they were kind of coming into the scene. I'm at WMC, but like you didn't know who they were first, right? Like you'd meet somebody and they'll give you like their Zulu name. So like I didn't know like Black Coffee was Black Coffee probably until after I met him. Probably like till I left WMC, and I was like, "Oh, that's Black Coffee. Oh, okay, cool." Like I thought that guy's name is Nati. Like he grew up in the same area that I grew up in, and so it was kind of cool to meet those guys, and even Tamba. But by then he was going by Euphonic, so like meeting those guys like back, like in the early 2000s, that was kind of cool because it's like, hey man, these guys have come from home. But I feel like their style has definitely evolved too, right? In the sense like
totally.
The house music that they were producing and playing then is very different from what they play now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I was, there was, what was the label? Go Music, which was Ralph Gum. At the time, I was kind of really, I was buying a lot of house music, and Go Music kind of, I feel like Go Music was one of the first. He was German, right? It's a German label or a Swiss label. It was one of the first.
German because Ralph Gum is German.
Right.
I don't know who. Yeah.
But then, if you could listen to kind of the kind of music that he was putting out, and he he did amazing stuff with Monique Bingham, but then he also put Boosie on. He put Black Coffee on. The music that around that time is kind of my music. I love that music. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a bit more big room now, I feel, in South Africa. The stuff that the labels that I'm interested in a little bit are like Pasqua. They have quite a lot of South African kind of stuff going on. There's another couple of digital labels that, I mean, these aren't the big people. Again, Russell will school me. I do need Russell to school me. I'm super interested.
Where is
he? I don't know. I'm thinking if I just keep on shouting Russell, he's going to turn up.
Well, he'll show up somehow.
No, of course he will. He'll be fine. He normally turns up 45 minutes into a stream. He's like, Rev, how you doing? I'm like, that's
same thing for his own set. So yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Sounds about right.
No. So yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of at the moment. I'm just kind of trying to piece together, because this is what we don't know about you. A dope DJ. We know that you are super. What's the word I'm looking for here? Organized, on it. Like literally, if there's one girl that will DM me all the time, it's Portia and TT. But TT's not. TT. I have a general business relationship with. You're just a dope DJ. No, you're on it. Like you can see from like the way that you've kind of approached Twitch, the way that you've basically built your community, and then obviously how you're now leveling up to the next level. And that is, I'll always give you credit for that, because there are so many people that are not self-starters. And I do that. I'm here kind of to help those people. But you generally don't need any help.
Well, thank you. I mean,
you just do your thing, right? You do your thing.
I just do my thing. I think for me, talking about Louis Vega, talking about like the kind of music maybe that I play now, it kind of has come in a sense like from that. Like when I first started DJing, like it was during the quarantine, so 2020, probably like in the summer around this time. And I wasn't working, and I told Pablo, I was like, hey, listen, I want to learn to DJ. I want to use my time well, because when am I going to get this time to not be complaining about work? So that was kind of like my main thing, is like, okay, use the time wisely. Like I was so on it, actually. Like I feel like that's probably one of my most productive like 6 months of my life was probably 2020, like June to December, where I was like, okay, I'm going to be consistent with my workouts. I'm going to meditate. I want to learn DJ. I want to look for work, because I didn't know when I was going to go back to work. So at that time, Pablo had made me some music, like some USB or two. And a lot of the sounds were very much Louis Vega, very soulful, and definitely a lot of like Black Coffee because he knew I liked that style. But I don't know, like I feel like it wasn't really connecting. It wasn't connecting until probably 2021, where I was like finding my own music. I was like, let me listen to things and find what I like and play those things. And I feel like it's really helped me find my voice and kind of define my style. And it's kind of taken me like kind of full circle back home in the sense that a lot of the stuff I play is very South African because I feel very connected to the songs, to the music, because a lot of them are in languages that I can understand.
Yeah.
South Africa has 11 official languages. I understand some of them. I might not speak them, but that's kind of like why I feel like at one point I was like, I need to do something also that sets me apart because I know what the lyrics mean. Why don't I tell you guys what they mean so that like a song has maybe more meaning, or maybe you sing along but you don't know what it means, which is, I mean, what happens with a lot of languages or songs that have from different countries. So I feel like it's been kind of a cool, unique twist. I don't always do it because sometimes I just feel like I need to shut up, but yeah, let the music speak. So it's been kind of a cool ride to experience that and kind of find me in my music or the music that I like or play. So.
Yeah, for me, you've kind of been the ambassador of South African house music.
I feel like I kind of have to be. It's
because
not have to be, but I have to kind of carry it.
When I came to this platform, I'm super intrigued by new music. I can play classic disco, classics, but why would I want to play classics? I've been playing classics for years. Like for me, I like learning. Learning is such an important thing for me. And the one thing that I really wanted to find on this global platform was a dope South African house DJ. Now there is a guy, and I'm so upset because I've forgotten his name, but he was kind of like an open format South African DJ.
Okay.
And I kind of asked it was like, no, is it? Oh, I can't remember what his name is.
Is he based in Joburg?
I think so. He normally streams about 1 o'clock in my afternoon.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he did like a raid the other day, and I was like, oh, I haven't seen you live for ages. And he was actually playing house music, but he wasn't playing South African house music, which was bizarre. But yeah, I mean, for me, it was like, you've got your Louis, your Kais, but I really wanted to learn about South African house music.
Yeah.
But there was nobody from South Africa that I could find playing South African house music on Twitch. And that completely blew my mind.
I think that's for some, like, I mean, if they live in South Africa, there's a lot of issues with Wi-Fi. There's a lot of issues with electricity because there's like rotating blackouts that they do strategically to allow different areas to have power, to have electricity. So I think it's very challenging for South Africans to stream because they're so limited in access, right? First of all, like it's usually a monopoly as far as who the carriers are for for electricity or for Wi-Fi or internet. So connectivity is like such an issue there. So people can't stream because it's very expensive, or they just never know when the power is going to be out. So
right,
yeah, it's a challenge.
And there we go. By default, you have become the ambassador of South African house music.
Very surprising.
And Russell, of course. We can never forget about Russell.
For sure.
So no, it's been super interesting, and I'm very thankful for you because
thank you.
You've done a lot for me. You've done a lot for other people, and especially during the pandemic, we've just had an amazing time, right? Amazing time. I've got bags permanently under my eyes because I now on Eastern Standard Time, which is not great. I need to get back to it with BST.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just trying to collect my thoughts. Sorry, I should have written the script, but we've kind of got to that point where you're kind of now in Miami. I think the first time I came across you was the My Casa holidays stream.
Yeah, they were doing kind of like the festival, but online, right? Because of the pandemic, they didn't have the festival in. I think the first one since 2020 was last year. So they had one last year, but it's a very small, intimate group. It's always been an intimate group, but this was like much smaller than your
Yeah.
typical mikasa. So actually, it's so funny because the last one I went to was in 2019, and at that time I talked to Julius, and Julius is the guy who organizes the event, him and his sister, and I was like very inspired that year because Pablo got to play, and that was his second time going to Mikasa. And so I told Julius, I was like, I'm gonna play next year, and he was like, I want to see you streaming, not streaming. He was like, if you can release some like mixes, maybe put them on SoundCloud or Mixcloud, then I'll take you seriously. He goes, but you have to show me that you really want to do it. And I was like, I feel like the pandemic kind of like helped me do that. So I was like, all right, I have nothing else to do, so I might as well learn to DJ and stream. So it was a good push for me to actually start learning. So
yeah, because that was going to be my question. How do you go from here to there and then to Mikasa? But you just answered the question.
Yeah, which I'm playing this year for the actual first, for me, the first like in-person one, because I've done 2 virtual ones. And so this will be my first one in October. So I'm excited for that.
I feel like, is Mary doing it as well?
No, they usually do. I mean, typical Mikasa is the one in October is the main one, which is in Mexico. But they've done Costa Rica, they've done Cuba, they've done Chicago, and I think at one point they were doing New York too, but they've never done Miami. Oh, well, I mean, yes and no. They did something this year for WMC Winter Music Conference and Miami Music Week, so they did a little something. Yeah, I forgot to put it in now.
No, it's just because I feel like that's the first time I met Mary as well on the same stream that you were doing. You were kind of back to back or something. That was my morning. The things that I remember. This is why I don't drink bourbon, Philippe. My memory's coming back. I now just drink fizzy water. Yeah. Anyway, the thing that's becoming apparent to me is Pablo has been instrumental in your development.
For sure. I mean, he's the one who like took his time to, he'd be working because he's always worked from home for many years. So he was already home. And so adding me to the mix was like, okay, like you're done with work now. Like it's time for you to show me something. So it was kind of cool. I mean, it was really nice. He was really good, really patient with me. And his whole thing too was, you need to find what you love, right? So he was like, listen to things. If you find it, send me what you want and I'll download it for you. I'll buy it for you. And I was like, okay, cool. And then he would have me like sit and look at like the sound waves of songs and like sort out. He's like, find the beat, mark it. And so I got to like sit. So when he was working, I was like working on my music, right? Like, okay. And then sometimes I'll be like, I can't. Something's wrong with like the way I have it, but I can't figure it out, or the way I'm playing it, and I can't figure it out. So it was very instrumental and very patient in guiding me to like learn. So yeah, definitely. And even with Twitch, having, I'd be like, oh, I saw this mic. Should we buy this mic? Can we buy this mic? So I was always like buying toys. I'm always sending like messages. I'm like, I need this from Amazon. I need this from Amazon. But also just helping me with like my setup, with my stream. So
do you not have your own money?
I pay for the wine, okay? It adds up.
Right. I see. Yeah. You just get your fella to buy your tunes. That's so.
Oh yeah, I do pay for my CDJs. Yeah, but he surprised me. When was it? 2 weeks ago? No, 3 weeks ago. When we came back from Toronto, he bought me a mixer. I've been looking for a mixer for months, and it was driving me crazy. So I came home, and I was like, "What is this?"
What mixer did you get?
I have 9000 Nexus 2. No, Nexus, yeah.
That's a Pioneer thing, right?
Sorry, 900. Yeah, the Pioneer.
Yeah, I don't do Pioneer. I'm a Denon boy. Surprised, everyone's getting rotaries. I thought you'd be getting like a rotary and doing.
I really want a rotary, but because they sound so nice. I played at friends' houses, and I'm like, oh, it's so sweet. But I had to be realistic with my budget. I'm not trying to ball out of control. I don't have that kind of money yet. So
no, just keep saving your Twitch pay packets and become a self-employed DJ and just basically don't pay tax by just buying stuff. That's my goal. I don't know if it'll work.
It can work.
The way this government is in this country, I'm not giving them any tax. Anyway, what was I about to say? So what happens? I just tell a joke. It's not funny, and I lose my train of thought. What can I do?
Like that.
No, we were talking about what we mix. We talked about pie. Now I have lost my train of thought. So let me carry on with the no Toronto.
Mm.
How was Toronto?
Toronto was a lot of fun. I feel like the main event that I went for, sadly, there's a lot of things, not sadly, I mean, there's a lot of things going on in Toronto in the summer. So I feel like the attendance was a little bit less than I anticipated. But also the event was over 2 days. So I feel like it was a little stretch as far as like people can go to one day, maybe not the other day. So that part was tough, but it was so nice to finally meet. Like, I feel like the people who've been supporting me for probably the last year and a half or so, to finally meet them in person, right? Not just to see like, you know, a picture on Twitch or a picture on Instagram, but to actually physically like be in front of those people, like see the mannerisms, like hear their laugh. It's like so nice. I had such a great time meeting everybody. Yeah.
Do you find that because you spent so much time with these people online that it's kind of, you feel like you know them?
Yeah. It's
Isn't that
weird because
it,
I
isn't it,
remember like
right?
been meeting like Philippe the Haitian in DC, and he was like, "This is so weird that we're meeting." I was like, "Not really." Like for me, it felt very like natural. It felt very easy because it's like I spent like hours with you in a week. You know what I mean? I don't even get to spend that with my friends who live here. I don't get to spend that much time with them. So I mean, yes, you don't know the person, right? Because there's more to us than it's a little bit one-dimensional, this Twitch thing, you know, especially if I'm the one playing. Yeah, people get to know me a lot, but I don't get to know the people on my stream. So it's like really nice to have dinner and a drink or a hug or dance with somebody that you've been essentially spending like a year with, but you hadn't met physically. So it's been, I mean, but it feels like you know them. Like,
no,
feels like
definitely.
family, feels like brothers and sisters and friends. So
it's something that I still can't quite fathom. It's like when you're walking across a road and you're meeting someone for the first time in a way that you kind of know what their kids are called. You know, you know what they had for dinner last week. Well, that's just Instagram. You just see what everyone's eating. But then you kind of go, "Hey, mate, how you doing?" And that's it. And you've got a mate, right?
Yeah.
I constantly have to describe this to people, and they just don't get it. But I feel this is very much a inner wall Twitch thing, because the only other time you would have ever had this situation would have been in the early 90s and the message boards, whereby you basically had the same, you know, you're at work, you have a message board open, and then you're chatting with people. You know, I met loads of people there at that point as well, like on the Masters at Work message board, Underground NYC, Deep House page was just crazy. Everyone argued all the time, trying to burn things down. Like someone would mention someone would mention David Mancuso, and then it'd be a fight. I was just like, guys, is this literally what the America's like? I don't want to come here. You're all crazy. But no. It's but yeah, you know, from that you basically make those connections, and those connections. Some of those people I still know. I went to people's weddings, and years later, you know, they're still here.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain to somebody who's not on Twitch. Like when I was telling my coworkers that I'm gonna get to meet all these people, they're kind of like, "Okay, but you never met them." I'm like, "No, I never met them." They're like, "But you know them." I was like, "Yeah, I know them, but I don't know them." They're like, "Okay, you play with these guys on Wednesday, but you never met them." No, I've never met them in person, but we like talk every day, so I feel like I know them. But
yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So who did you meet? Who did you meet in Toronto?
So I got to meet the Deep Night crew. So I got to meet Russ and Jay. I got to meet, Vicky. So I'm trying to think like my mods. So I got to meet two of my mods, Vicky, Green Alligators, and Foxy, Michelle. Got to meet her. Got to meet a lot of the DJs, Casey Music. There's so many. What can I think? Freckles.
Here, you know what? I am
Ray
the worst.
Oh, yeah, I got to hang out with Ray's and then Melissa and their dog.
I am the worst person. I've asked you to name everyone. You gave me a slideshow, didn't you?
I did.
We can do
Yeah,
this.
there they are.
There we go. Power of technology. So this is your Toronto trip. I see Russell.
Yeah. So yeah, Russell.
Let me make this
Jay.
big. Can I make this big? Can I make
Yeah,
this big?
take the
I
whole
can make.
screen.
I can make myself big. Can I? Hey, now. Let me do
And then
this.
my friends, I have some friends who live in Toronto now. They're from Mexico, so I got to hang out with them. Got to meet Rum Shaker, Toronto Charm, Deep Night. Who else? Vicky. I stayed with Vicky for the first 4 days until Pablo got there, and then I got to meet the hip hop DJs. So that's Sheila Soul and Steve, aka Channel 9. There's quite a few people in that one picture, like Russ, the Machine, JT. Who else did I see there? But yeah, it was really nice. And then Pablo's in there. I don't think there's audio during the slideshow. Is there audio?
Is there audio?
I said, well, could you guys hear me naming people?
Yeah. No, sorry. I
No,
was
I wasn't
kind
sure.
of. I realised that if I switched you off, I wouldn't be able to hear you. So, if only that was possible for other people. But yeah. Let me I've lost the chat. Let me get back on there. And we've got a video of you DJing, right? We can do this as well.
we?
Yes, we do.
Is it music? There's a machine.
I see machine.
There's Russell chilling.
There we go. You're banging it out. What time was your set?
How long was it?
What time was your set?
Oh, my set was like 7:15 in the afternoon, like at night, till like
Oh, okay.
8:30, something like that.
Who played before you?
Everybody, I closed the show.
That's why you're banging. You're just like, you know what? I'm gonna
also,
take the roof off.
Yeah, I feel like I was the only one who was gonna probably play Afro because we had a lot of like R&B hip hop early on just to kind of set the vibe. So that was like KC Music. What can I think of his stage name? Earl.
Lazy E.
Lazy E. He played, those two played first, and then Jason Palma played, and then this guy, really cool guy called, what's Dale's name? He goes by something else, something Dale. Dirty Dale?
Dirty Dale. I love Dirty Dale.
Yeah, so I played after Dirty Dale. That was a lot of fun.
Is Dirty Dale as fun as he is in real life?
He is a lot of fun, and that guy has some serious dance moves. I mean, we were the night before the party, like the Saturday one, with like Tyrone and all those guys. We were dancing on this, like, I feel like the dance floor was sticky, right? So it almost like had like people had spilled drinks or something sticky, and you couldn't really like dance well. And he was literally gliding across the dance floor, and I was like, how the fuck are you gliding when we can't even move? Like, we're like stuck on this dance floor. And this guy was like, he's so much fun. He's so great.
I have such a crazy story about Dirty Dale. I have a mate who I used to go dancing with back in the day, and he's a really tall guy called Diarra, and he's from Toronto, and he moved to London. He was like a massive househead, literally a 7-foot black guy, and there's me. It was just so crazy going dancing with him. And he used to go. There's this guy called Dale, and he was called the Arsenaut at this point, I feel. And he was like, he used to tell me all these stories about Toronto, and it was Dale. He just talked to me about Dale all the time. Sent me his podcast, Banana and Two Cherries. And then one day I was streaming on Twitch, and Little Miss Disco might remember this. This is back when I used to be, I don't know, literally there was like, it was before all the house raids and all that kind of stuff. We were just jamming, and then Dale popped up, and it was just such a weird moment, because it's like one of those things where you kind of go, I know who you are, but you have no idea who I am.
Yeah.
and then we just raided him, and it was like Je ne sais quoi was there, and
Oh wow, he's
just
so
this
dope.
is just a mad
He's just like
things.
he's a lot of fun. He has like a lot of energy, but also he's so like kind and down to earth. It's just like a good combination of a person. Like he's gonna be on the dance floor, always moving, but then
Yeah.
he'll like take the time out to just like chit chat with you like for a second. Like it's
Yeah.
really nice. It's like so much fun.
I do miss Dale. We need to get Dale back on the.
Yeah, he's been working I think a lot more, so he's not streaming much.
No,
Yeah.
but I will try. I'll try and get him on a Friday. Feels like Friday maybe or
That'd be
something
fun.
soon.
Maybe you can do a little disco set.
Disco set, man. I need more disco DJs. Literally,
I played a whole. Actually, probably I played a disco set in Mexico City. I think that was
right?
the first time I played disco for like people, like in front of people.
Why don't people play disco on Twitch?
They do. Rob Alan plays a lot of disco.
Rob Alon does play a lot of disco. I mean, we
Um,
organised. What was it? We organised that raid across 24 hours, and I literally found 12 DJs that played disco.
Yeah,
And
I
there
think
are
they're there
they're there. There's a whole lot more house DJs though. I've
for
fall
sure.
over house DJs.
For sure.
But yeah. Anyway, it's a thing. It's a thing. I need more disco in my life. It would be beautiful if I could find some. But anyway, I digress again. So let's just touch upon on something that I'm really interested in. Oh, there we go. I know Bobian plays disco live.
He does.
I'm so jealous of this Fox Cabaret place. It looks mental. But yeah, and I saw that Rob and Doug did that, didn't they? They blew the roof off. Tell me about Ampiano.
Ampiano is like taking over like the world. I remember like when I first heard it, I was kind of like, there were like elements of it that reminded me a little bit of Kwaito. And then I didn't really have a lot of it. So one of my friends, she lives in, I don't know if you heard of DJ Zandy. She lives in New York. She was organizing a party in DC, and she was like, hey, do you want to play at this party? It's Amapiano. I think it was supposed to be Amapiano versus Gom, which Gom came right before Amapiano. So it was kind of like a harder sound. And I just kind of was like, don't listen to it. I was like, let me look up a few songs. So then I had some friends over who live in the East Coast, and they were like, you need to get the song. You need to get the song. So I started like listening to more of it. And I was like, well, if I'm going to be playing at this event and most people are going to expect singing my piano, let me play it. But it's been almost like what Russell says. He never really, it took him a while to get used to it or get into it. Like he never plays it, but I mean, I never played it really until just a few months ago. But it's like such a vibe, right? And I feel like it reminds me of not quite Kwaito, but there's like this thing that South Africans came up with like around the time like Kwaito transitioned into a little bit of like more house, like as far as like the people's like Bible thing. The whole thing was they wanted good songs, but they didn't want like sweat, right? Like so the whole thing was my aim is not to sweat. So this Gom kind of, I mean, my piano reminds me of that. It's like slow tempo, like 113 BPMs. Like yeah, you're like kind of bobbing to it, right? But you're not into like dancing. But then but then it comes sometimes with like these hard beats, and it's like I don't know, it's so dope.
if I wanted to, so over here this week, I'm sure the BBC has just done an Ampiano special, and I so want to listen to it because again, I want to kind of learn about this sound. It's not like I want to be the David Rodigan of Ampiano. That's not my vibe. But like literally, I mean, I don't jump up and down like him anyway. But I just find it intrinsically kind of interesting. The birth of all these different genres. Like I've got a little bit of what is it? Not sure. The thing that's Afro beats right now.
No, Afro beats. Yeah, I'm not. I mean, yeah, I'll play a few songs that.
But tempo wise, it's faster than Afro beats, right?
I feel like they're along the same. I feel like Afro beats has kind of same tempo as like R&B and hip hop, where it can range anywhere from like 86 BPMs to like maybe 102. Whereas my piano typically is like 113 to 115.
Yeah.
in that range. So it's a little bit faster, but it's very similar. Very easy to mix the two, though.
Yeah. I need to get on this. I just want to kind of learn a few key artists
Yeah,
and then basically go and explore.
definitely the
Um,
people you want to listen to, you'll want to kind of check out is this guy used to do a lot of gom, but now he does a lot of ampiano. Is DJ Maporisa.
okay.
He's like very big. I'm trying to think what the twins' names is. This two brothers. Anyway, I'll send you the info because I can't think of the names right now. But it's definitely
Okay.
taken the world by storm. I mean, I heard it's really popular in parts of Canada. There's a lot more events going on in the US with it. A lot of like afro festivals that feature a lot of my piano. South Africa, I think that's kind of like the main
Yeah.
music they listen to more than I would say house music.
Mm-hmm.
That's just kind of like the thing. And I've kind of like what they've done with it too. I like how, especially like Maporisa, what he's done with it is a lot of it is he takes some of the songs that you might know, and he'll make it a piano song, and you like, wait a minute, that's like
Okay.
an R&B song, or like that's a house song, and he'll
Yeah. Yeah.
switch it
Yeah.
up. But also, I feel like the new trend is adding female vocalists, and I feel like I like that juxtaposition, right, of having
Mm-hmm.
like yes these melodies of like the pianos, but then you have like these hard like drums and bass and all these things, but you have this like beautiful angelic voice to it. It's like such a contrast, and I feel like
Yeah.
it's such a beautiful sound. It creates like this very interesting sound to your ear.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No. No.
we're gonna
Definitely.
play some
Definitely.
today. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Well, in about 15 minutes, we are going
Oh,
to head over to Deep Night, and Portia's going to kick off the party as she does every Wednesday. Patty, just to answer your question, I feel
oh
like
yeah,
it's
let's
I
see.
feel like it's either on BBC Sounds, but I do think it's a One Extra production. I listen to One Extra quite a lot in the car because it's the only BBC radio station. I was talking about this earlier actually, that I can kind of really vibe with. So I'm pretty sure it's a One Extra special, maybe available via BBC Sounds. I don't know if BBC Sounds is available outside of England, but if I'm recording this, so let's just stop there. But we can sort something out, I feel. But yeah. So in terms of what is going down on Twitch, you kind of do the Wednesday deep night.
Yeah, that's kind of my main or primary thing. I've been playing a lot more like in real person, so I don't stream as much, which is also not true. I don't know. Like I'm all over the place.
You
I do
stream
a
all the
lot
time,
of.
Portia. You're like on raids left, right, and center.
I like doing raids because I feel like it exposes me to like different DJs. As far as like I'm like, oh, why am I not following this person? Or like I didn't know about certain DJs. But
That's
I feel like
exactly what
also
it is.
it kind of helps me build my community because then whoever's rating me then brings in new viewers. So it's always nice
Hmm.
to see like a different name in the chat.
Yeah,
So I definitely like doing raids more. Once in a while, I'll do like a pop up with Casey, but I don't. I feel like I always say I don't stream a lot, and then I'm like I'm streaming like 5 days in a row. So let me not say it.
how
I'm
are
actually
you?
playing on Soul on the Horn this Friday, so that'll be
Yeah.
my first time playing there, and then I think I'm chilling till Wednesday.
No, you're doing the after party on
Oh
the.
shit, no, on
Well,
Silver
actually, no.
Friday.
Theoretically, Pablo is DJing,
Yes,
but
Paulo is
but
DJing,
but
but
Pablo is. You at some point you said you were going to do it back to back.
he agreed. He thought
Yeah,
it was a great idea.
in a headlock, right? She was
Right?
like, "So what time am I DJing?" I'm pretty certain you were said Pablo was DJing.
You know,
No, it'll be cool. It'll be cool.
it'll be fun.
I feel like I can't remember who's actually raiding into you. Oh, it's Brazilian guy, Thomas Blondet. I'm just trying to finalize the lineup now.
Yeah,
But yeah,
not really
no,
an option, Pablo.
always
Really.
always a vibe, and because you're closing, you can just play for as many hours as you want.
Yeah,
Um, you know, so do you. How are you finding Twitch right now?
in the sense of
You
like,
think
if I find it saturated, right? We have a
saturated?
lot of people streaming. There's a lot of
Hmm.
competition, which I think is healthy. But obviously, then it pulls people to different places. Like
It
I know at
does.
some points I was trying to support the people who support me. And it's like I'll have somebody playing on my phone, somebody like Chromecasting on the TV, somebody on my iPad. I was like, this is too much. Like you want to be at all places, all times, but it's just impossible. It feels saturated. I feel like Wednesdays tended to be more chill, and now there's like so many streamers.
Yeah, it's
But
crazy.
also maybe as I'm getting to know other streamers, then I see them streaming, because some of them, I'll see them in a raid, but I've never actually watched their own shows. And so you're like, oh, you play on Wednesday too, lovely.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of competition. It's getting not harder. It's just getting saturated. I don't know what other word.
I love stats, right? And there's this thing called Twitch Tracker that I use all the time, basically to kind of. This sounds really weird, to measure DJs.
Okay.
But only because what I do is I try and piece together DJs that complement each other, so that we don't have quiet moments in raids. And one of the things I have is I have all the stats of the last 5 years of Twitch, and I feel like after the pandemic, everything's kind of slowing down, and I think it's quite interesting in a way that the rooms that I was frequenting in probably 6 months ago seemed quieter.
Really?
And yeah, I think so. I feel like some people have lost 20% of their audience. But
I wonder
also,
if that's because people are going out, right? And so as
totally.
restrictions have been lifted in a lot of countries and a lot of places, people are going to dinner instead of staying home and like ordering out or ordering food, right, for the house. Or people are going to actual events, especially let's say like on Friday, Saturday, Sundays. People are, going to places instead of. I mean, considering that's happened all over the globe, I still feel like I'm surprised by how many people are still on Twitch, right?
Well, it's for me. It's I feel like I had a conversation about Ustream the other day, and it was like, obviously before Twitch there was Ustream, and there was definitely a summer effect for video sites when it comes to DJs, because most of the time people don't want to stay in and watch Twitch during the summer. It's like the hottest day of the year last week. Was I watching Twitch? Actually, I was, because it was so hot I didn't want to go outside. But I feel like it's the winter, and if you can keep an audience in the summer, then you're much better suited for when winter comes around again.
That makes sense.
And this is the time where I feel everyone needs to put the work in, because if you just disappear, then people forget about you, right?
Yep, they sure do.
Selector, you never see a dip, man. You're a machine. I can't select. Yeah, you're an echelon, brother. You're not even in the same space as most of us. So, but no, people. I do feel like. Thank you for the follow, by the way. I do. Yeah, it's a weird one. I mean, I have a little chat for Saturday Night Experience, and we talk about it a lot. And we share graphs and all types of things. That's why we got thrown out of Marcel Vogel's chat. We're just geeks, basically. But yeah, all right. I feel like we should wrap this up, because in about 8 minutes you're DJing. Or are you literally about ready just to step over and put a record on?
Yeah,
or press a button.
You press a button. Pablo's here. He can press the button.
Maybe we just said Pablo DJ.
No, because he can put on my intro.
No, okay.
He doesn't have
Is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
I don't know. I feel like it would be nice for people to ask questions. I would like to talk about things that are not necessarily music related. If anybody wants to know anything about me, I don't really. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm a fun, interesting person, but
you know what? That is absolutely my fault. That's absolutely my fault, because I'm so inner when it comes to music that I can't talk about anything else. I have children. I have a wife. I have dogs. I have a cat, and literally, I just talk about music all day. I don't know what it is.
Because you have a community that supports that, and so it's like when you're with us on Twitch, that's what it's about, right? It's about music for the most part. And then when you're outside of Twitch, then you do home things.
Yeah, I feel like I need to I feel like some questions next time. But what's your favorite dish, and what do you like cooking when you get home? What's your favorite? What you're watching on Netflix right now? No, but it's not a question that doesn't involve one of
I
those
don't have
things.
a lot of. I mean, I don't watch a lot of TV. But sometimes it's nice to kind of break away from Twitch and watch something else. Like yesterday, we were catching up on the Ozarks. So that's been kind of the thing I've been watching. One thing I've been avoiding watching that I'm a weirdo. Like I don't like. It's not even a scary show, but I don't like creepy things. I don't like. What's the name of that show, Paulo? That everybody like up in Mexico City watches. Stranger Things. There's
Stranger
like a
Things.
new episode, a new season. I'm like, every time like I see Paulo scroll through, I'm like, keep going past Stranger Things. I'm not ready.
Is Stranger Things scary?
It's not, but I don't like the creepiness.
Right.
I don't like it. Okay, it creeps me out. I remember like watching probably the first one. They've done this is what the fourth season,
Yeah.
and anytime like you hear the music coming on because maybe that monster thing is gonna come, I'm like, ugh, it just makes me like nauseous. Like I don't know.
I
How
have to
did Portia
say,
meet her Twitch hubby, Cavasso?
I had things. I think the last thing I
Really?
watched was Dear White People, and that was God. When was that? I can't even remember when Dear White People was.
Yes, Little Miss
I,
Disco. It's intense. I don't like that. I don't like things that are intense. I like shows and movies that are either like comedy or action. Like if you're shooting people and stabbing people, I'm all for it. Sign me up. But like creepy things coming out of, I just don't like it. Zombie things, I just can't do it. Like I,
Patty has. Patty, I've got two questions that we're gonna have to do really quickly, but in a
what
way
did
that we
Patty?
answer the question. Patty said, "What is your day job? Are you a physical therapist?"
Yes, I am.
I'm actually interested in this. I don't actually know what you do as a day job.
I am. I take care of people all day. I try to make them feel better. I'm a physical therapist by day.
Okay,
It's kind of like been my thing for the last, I don't know how many years now. 7 years, 8 years, something like that.
it's quite
Yeah, about
interesting.
8 years. Yeah.
How did you get into physical therapy?
I think it was more like what I wanted to do was something more sports related, but the schools that I picked didn't have the programs, and I was like, oh, I really like the soccer program here. I want to go to school here, and like the coach was really like big on I'm gonna get you a scholarship. So I went to a school that didn't really have the program.
Yeah.
So, so I didn't really do anything sports related. But one of my first classes that I took when I transferred after my first year in college was like a physical therapy based class. It wasn't quite PT, but I was like, I like this. This is kind of cool. We're helping people who has like strokes and spinal cord injuries. And my grandma in South Africa had a stroke, and like there's so many things that I learned that she never had access to. That I was like, are you kidding me? Like I met these women who were like living by themselves and had strokes, and my grandma never even walked after her stroke because she never had rehab. So it just kind of changed my outlook on it. And it was like I felt like it was more rewarding than
Okay.
like the sports route. So
It's an honest profession, and I've got much love for anybody that does an honest profession.
yeah,
Like Patty says, it's very cool.
yeah.
I've got one more question from your Twitch hubby, asking how.
So I don't know how I met you. I don't remember. I don't remember. I remember like you being on my stream, and then I think I followed, and then one time I went to see you play because they showed that you were playing, and I was like, huh, he doesn't look like I thought he would look. I thought he was like Latin, right, because of the name. Then I heard the accent. I was like, ew, like what kind of accent is that?
I'm actually really confused because Cabasso asked a question,
I know,
but
but Cabasso
Cabasso is
likes to
your
talk
Twitch
about
hubby.
himself.
Oh,
Yes,
right. Okay. I see. I see. It was a setup, and I gave him time.
yes, yes.
No. Okay.
I know him.
I love Cabasso. Thank you for the
He's
raid,
so
brother.
dope.
I appreciate you. Right. I feel like with that we're going to finish.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank you,
for
Rob.
my time. Not your time. Not my time. My time is my time. Thank you for your time. It's always a pleasure speaking to you, hanging out in your chat, and just literally vibing. So we appreciate you, Portia.
Thank you,
I,
guys.
if
Thank you,
I was
Rob.
Eamon Andrews, I'd give you a red book saying this is your life, but I don't have one. So I'm going to let you bounce. I'm
Okay.
going to start a raid off in a couple of minutes.
See
So
you
I'm
guys
going to
soon.
so wave to everybody, and
Bye.
we will see you very shortly on the
Yeah, see you in
other
a few
side
minutes.
of the room.
Alrighty.
Okay. Right, guys. Thank you. I feel like that was fun, and I need a lot of work. Maybe some media training. Didn't quite get the libel lawyer, but you know, we'll work on it next time. If you guys have got any suggestions for next month's conversation, please hit me up in my DMs, Instagram Revolutions London. I do want to kind of do this monthly. For me, it's kind of, we can all play music, but I also feel like it's really important to shine a spotlight on people. So it's people that predominantly, and again, it doesn't need to be a DJ. I've asked Kim G actually. I'd love to get Kim G on one of these. Kim G would be magic. I'm going to work on Kim G. But yeah, thank you for hanging with us. I appreciate all of your time, and let me make sure. Let me see if she's live. Sorry, bear with me. I've got multiple screens. I'm a simple man. I've also now got a computer game in front of me. I do love Twitch. Portia is live. So let me now trigger this raid, and then I will see you on the other side. Drive. Please do keep it locked if you love deep, soulful house music with an afro feel, because you're going to the source right now, and it is amazing. Thank you, guys. Let's go.